Hello guys, Ashley here, also known as the Asian fan, back to another video, and today we're going to be continuing me talking about why I don't like Serena that much as a character in Gossip Girl. And in part one, if you didn't, well, I haven't uploaded it yet because I'm not on the internet, but pretty much what I said in part one is how I can understand a little bit of Serena's problems and why she does do the things she does, but I feel like we have gotten to a point in life where we continue to excuse females because they are awfully traumatized by things in their childhood or things in life. And I feel like there's no excuse because that's the common thing. That is like the same acknowledgement when it comes to a serial killer. And I feel like we have got to stop using trauma as a way to excuse people for their behavior. And I just feel like I could definitely understand why Serena does things she does, because Lily is a terrible parent. Lily has abandoned her emotionally, and her dad abandoned her and became this rich doctor and didn't see them after him and Lily got divorced, didn't make any effort to stay in contact with his kids. And Serena was pretty much failed by her parents in this situation. And I know I didn't go in depth about a lot of things that she went through because I just feel like it just wasn't enough time to go in depth with it. Well, I will say that if you watch the show, that I'm pretty sure you understand a lot of things that she does go through. You know, she thought she killed someone. She was almost essayed by Chuck. She was stalked on and preyed by the guy who was supposed to be the love of her life, which made no goddamn sense. There was just so much with Serena. I feel like we could be here all day talking about things that she's been through. But part two of this video is me discussing why I feel like y'all tend to use that trauma excuse as a way to completely forget about the shit that she's done. Whenever I see a Reddit post, whenever I see a YouTube video talking about Serena, it's always about the trauma that people overlook, or how she was more layered than y'all believe. And it's like, okay, whatever. Okay, whatever. So in this video, I want to be discussing a lot of things that make me dislike Serena as a person. Let's get into it. Reason number one, her friendship with Blair. I have a video I'm going to be making about her and Blair. It is a part 2 video about their friendship. Me discussing some of the problems why I think their friendship it's so toxic, and why I feel like it went on entirely too long in the series, and why I feel like a lot of people, when it comes to this friendship, people tend to overlook a lot of the shit. A lot of the times Serena had absolutely no loyalty, and also talk about how Blair saw Serena as her competition. So did Serena. Serena definitely, like I said, I think they were both jealous of each other. But for Blair, I don't think it was about her wanting to be Serena. It was about how easy things came for Serena. Like, how you just walk into a room and people just want to just give you an opportunity even though you haven't worked for it. It's ridiculous. But that's life sometimes. People who don't have charisma, or people who don't have any ounce of personality, are going to find ways to charm their way into things, and then they end up looking like an idiot because it's 10 times more challenging. But let's talk about her and Blair's friendship, and why I personally just don't like it, and why I think Serena is pretty much 100% the bad guy whenever it comes to her and Blair and their friendship. Let's talk about how Serena slept with majority of Blair's boyfriends. She slept with Nate without any she did sleep with Nate. She slept with Nate, and she did have I'm looking for it. She felt guilty about it when she told Georgina that they did sleep together, and she said, how could she do that to Blair? That's her best friend. She did feel guilty about it, but it took Serena 3 episodes to apologize for the incident in season 1. It really took her 3 episodes to apologize about what happened. And when she did try to apologize to Blair when they was playing field hockey, she told her that, I'm sorry what happened with Nate. We don't have to be friends, but can we just move past it? Like, I thought that was ridiculous. Is that your idea of an apology, by just telling us you have to move on and get over it? No, that's not an apology, and that's not taking any accountability. Or she tries to act stupid. This is one of my favorite things that she likes to do in the show. She likes to act stupid and don't understand why her and Blair aren't cool. And she does it all the time with people in general. Like, she does it with Blair. She does it with Jenny. She did it with Nate in season 3. She did it with Dan plenty of times. Like, she would literally just sit there and act like people just don't fuck with her because they don't fuck with her. Like, no, Serena, are you not aware of what the fuck you did of your fucking actions? Like, are you not aware? So it took her 3 episodes to apologize, and the only reason why she did apologize is because Blair decided to read a very vulnerable letter to Serena about her life falling apart, which I think is one of Leighton Meester. I think it's one of her best acting scenes in the show. I think it's one of the best acting scenes in the show to me in general. In that episode, is when her and Serena get very vulnerable with each other, and they discuss everything about their friendship. When she pretty much tells Serena that her dad left her mom for another man. She was struggling with an eating disorder. Her boyfriend is in love with Serena after only having a one-night stand. And she needed her best friend more than ever, and Serena just up and abandoned her. Now, I understand the situation that Serena was in. You know, the guy Pete had an overdose, and she just felt like it was just time to just do something else, just try to just get past that situation. I understand, but I feel like there's no excuse for no accountability or just abandoning your best friend when she needed you most. Blair was going through a very turmoil moment in her life, and she really needed Serena, and Serena just up and left. Not only did Serena leave, but she got dick from her boyfriend before doing it. Another situation, Serena got mad you know what? The whole Louis situation with her sending that paper to Louis' mom about everything Blair's ever been through in her life, I'm going to say that for something else. I'm going to say that for a different reason. But let's talk about this. Actually, no, we can include it in this because it's all about her friendship with Blair. So we're going to include it in this. But back to the boyfriend things about the reason why I don't like him. The whole Dan situation, which the Dan situation is what originally was going to drive me into making the part 2 video about her and Serena, but I'll just discuss it here. And I'll mention it probably over again in the video. The Dan situation in season 4 and 5 when it came to Dan and Blair. I don't think it's a secret to anyone. I cannot stand and I hate Dan and Blair together. I think Dan and Blair were cringy. I think they were a waste of time. I feel like they were intentionally forced by the writers, and they try to get the audience to buy into that crap. And a lot of people do. They were so cute. They were so enemies to lovers coded, and it's like, man, please, get out of here with that bullshit. Her and Dan barely interacted in the show. Now all of a sudden in season 4, people want to act like this makes sense. It doesn't make any sense. Enemies to lovers only make sense when it's consistent through the series that they don't like each other. Dan and Blair barely had any interactions in season 3. And they barely had any in season 2, really, if you think about it. The majority of the time they interacted was really in season 1 until they became a couple. But yeah, y'all want to try to forget that. And people try to talk about that moment in season 1 and episode 4 with the pure setup to them. No, it wasn't. Like, y'all sound ridiculous. Like, y'all sound so fucking stupid when y'all say that. I don't understand how Dan being there for Blair in a very vulnerable moment tells me that they were setting Dan and Blair up from the beginning. When obviously Dan was completely 100% into Serena, and Blair was in a thing with Nate, and then she got into a thing with Chuck. So that don't make any sense to me. But the whole Dan situation in season 4 and 5, it's no secret to anyone that I do love Dan and Serena together, and I definitely feel like the writers completely fucked them over. And in season 4, Dan and Serena should have gotten back together. But the only reason why they didn't is because Serena had that whole storyline about her pretty much Juliet tricking everyone into thinking that she was on drugs. So her and Dan didn't go together. The writers decided to build up Dan and Blair. In that episode, when Blair went to go track down Juliet and find out the real truth about what happened with Serena, that was the moment the writers decided to build up Dan and Blair. I remember it very significantly that was the moment that they were building them up. And I hated it. And I still do when I watch the show back. I hate it. like I said, imagine having to skip an entire season because you hate the couple. That's dead and buried for me. Season 5 is so boring because of them. And that fucking forced ass bill that the writers decided to do. I'm sorry I'm keeping distracted. I just had to talk about it. So in season 4, when the writers are building up Dan and Blair, Serena gets really jealous. Not saying that she's not vindicated for getting jealous, but the reason why it pisses me off is because this is the same bitch who slept with Blair's boyfriend and has the audacity to get mad that Dan, who was her ex, is becoming friends with Blair, which I didn't mind them being friends. Gets mad at that and tells Blair that the only reason why she likes Dan is because Dan was hers at one point. And like Blair pretty much just said that you're self-conceited and that everything is always about you. And now that it's about me, now that it's about me wanting to get married and me marrying this prince, you can't stand it. You don't like it when other people are not in the spotlight. You hate being in the shadow. Deal with it. You didn't even want him until just now. You were just you were obsessed with Nate 5 minutes ago. Now you're obsessed with Dan, and now you still want him when you were dating your motherfucking teacher and all these other motherfuckers. You were dating a motherfucking professor at one point. Now you want him all of a sudden? Cause what? Cause someone else is interested in him? Like, Serena, make up your motherfucking mind. Like, bitch, you sound stupid as fuck. That's what Bird should have said. That when you just obsessed with the teacher who went to jail for a false accusation, weren't you just with him? Weren't you just with your college professor? Like, girl, are you fucking serious? I couldn't believe Serena said that. And then in retaliation, Serena sends Louis' mother, I guess she's the princess of fucking France. She sends Louis' mom a fucking paper of everything Bird's been through in her life. Her dad cheating on her mom, her parents getting divorced, her having an eating disorder at 15, Nate cheating on her with her, pretty much just telling this woman Bird's entire life story, and then have the audacity to sit in Bird's face and talk about, I didn't send it. Dr. Girl must have gotten a host of all that stuff and sent it. But Bird said, I know it was you. And, you know, Bird let it slide. And me personally, I would have never let shit like that slide. You supposed to be my bitch, and you can't handle the fact that I choose you out, and you have to go tell someone about the shit that I've been through personally as a way to hurt me. You're no friend of mine at all. And on that, Bird had to live in her motherfucking house and Serena had nowhere to go. You do that shit? Pack your shit and get the fuck out. Live on the street for all I give a fuck. You ain't living here. You ain't living in my motherfucking penthouse when you do some sneaky shit like that. You ain't living in this bitch. So, in season 4, you know, they're going up her and Dan and everything like that. You know, Serena, again, you quote-unquote want him, but yet you're not fighting for him. It didn't make any sense. You know, I'm trying my best to not make it just be about Serena, because a lot of it comes from the lackluster and the inconsistency of the writing when it comes to Dan and Serena. So in season 5, Serena tells Dan that she's still in love with him. She told him twice. And the episode where everybody finds out that Dan wrote these books about an alternate universe, about everybody in New York on the Upper East Side, he pretty much wrote the girl Serena, who was a variation of Serena. He called her shallow, conceited, selfish, lazy, and sugar daddy issues. Now, this also pissed me off because if this was the person that you're in love with and you love them, how can you talk about them like that? Now, I'm not saying Serena is a saint. I'm not saying that her flaws shouldn't be called out. But it's like, it's the way Dan wrote her. Like, when she said, it's like you forgot the girl you fell in love with. And it's like, that's what it felt like too. And like, I understand they haven't been a couple since season 2. So it's been 3 seasons since season 2. 3, 4, 5. And I understand that. But I just couldn't comprehend how Dan could write about her like that. Like, weren't you just like completely in love with her a season ago? Like, I don't understand this. The writing when it came to them was so inconsistent that it's fucking annoying. Seriously, it's really annoying. She told Dan again that she had feelings for him in an episode where Blair was left at the altar by Louis, when he told her that pretty much that she's gonna stay in a palace all day and she's gonna give him kids, as much kids as he wants. Blair ran away from the wedding. And I'm not saying Blair was safe either. She was only using Louis. She wasn't in love with him. She was in love with his title. And I think she just wanted to be, in the magazines and things like that. And I understand that Blair was also in love with Chuck and she had the whole thing going on with Dan. But me personally, I thought it was just a tad ridiculous that Blair went through 3 guys in season 5 and she still couldn't figure out who she wanted. It was just a tad ridiculous. And I think the whole Louis plot did not need to exist. If you want to have Blair marry someone, you could have just, even I'm saying this. Why not just have her and Dan be the ones getting married? Why not just have her and Dan be the ones getting married and have Georgina record Blair confessing her feelings to Chuck in an episode and it would have made a lot more sense if Serena was the one who would have posted it on Gossip Girl because Serena is still in love with Dan. So it's kind of hard seeing Blair marry the love of her life on Blair's wedding day. Doesn't that sound a little bit more captivating? Thought about that in 5 minutes. Put me in the writer's room. So when this happened, they did nothing with it when Serena said she had feelings for Dan. Him and Blair became a couple literally the episode right after this one, which is like episode, I believe, 14 was when her wedding happened. Episode 13 was when her wedding happened. Episode 14 was when her and Dan spent the whole episode in the fucking airport. It was pretty much a Dan and Blair episode. Yeah. But I love Blair. I'm a Blair fan, so I'm going to watch it anyway. And, Chuck did show up. I'm a chair shipper to the end of time. And, Blair was just trying to figure out who sent the video. Was it Chuck? Was it Serena? Serena said it wasn't her, and she was actually telling the truth for once. It wasn't her. And Chuck said he didn't do it. And only to find out it was fucking Dan who did it. Dan was the one who posted the video, and in the episode when she tells Dan, when she finds out that Dan was the one who did it, she wasn't mad at him. Which didn't make any sense to me because it's like the old Blair would have reacted very differently to this. And I'm not mad that she's changing and learning to not react to everything. It's just that Dan publicly humiliated her. I can't even say it right. He publicly embarrassed her in front of everyone at her own wedding. It just seems very manipulative that he would do something like that and then all of a sudden he's there to save the day and take her to the airport and da-da-da-da-da. Like, it just seems very manipulative that he would do that. And I feel like people just don't want to see that. They want to wear rose-tinted glasses when it comes to this whole Dan and Blair thing, when it's like, Dan was manipulative as fuck. He intentionally posted that video on Gossip Girl in front of everyone, embarrassing Blair. Then she come out of nowhere trying to be her shining knight in armor. Then at the day that Serena's grandmother died, at her funeral, her repast, you try to blame it on everyone else. You tell her it was Serena. You tell her it was Chuck. It was obviously Chuck. He was still jealous and yada yada yada. And he was just being so manipulative, and people don't want to talk about that. And it's just like, y'all funny. Like, if that would have been Chuck, y'all would have hanging on a motherfucking cross if he would have did shit like that. He's toxic, he's this, he's yang. But when it comes to Dan, y'all want to just forget that he did the shit. Like, I don't understand. This motherfucker was manipulative in that whole situation just to get Blair to lean on him. And y'all want to sit here and try to tell me that he wasn't being manipulative? Man, get the fuck out of here with that bullshit. Only for Blair to choose him in an episode, but it was the episode before this that I'm skipping over. There was an episode where Blair and Serena got into it about Dan, and Serena's saying that I know you have feelings for him, you're just not acting on them. And Blair said I don't have feelings for him, and she said if you want me to prove it to you, let's go see Dan right now. Dan was doing something. I think he was making a movie out of one of his books, and the two leads that he chose, he just felt like when they were kissing each other, it wasn't convincing enough. So him and Blair decided that showed them how to kiss. Knowing they have feelings for each other, it got a little bit too real. Serena comes in and sees them doing this, and she tells Blair that she told me you didn't have feelings for him, but yeah, I see you in here kissing him. And what originally was going to take me to talk about this friendship is because when the girl posted this on TikTok about this moment, she said Blair was a bad friend, just like Serena, but people tend to not think about it. I'm thinking, like, if you're going to tell me that this moment to you to you makes it seem like Blair has always been a bad friend, I think you are delusional as fuck. Serena has always been a bad friend. Serena has never had any loyalty towards Blair. And by the way, how about this? Even though I don't agree with dating your ex and yang yang yang, I'm going to try not to care about too much about this because this is a teen drama show and everybody who's been with someone hooks up. Nate's been with Serena already. Dan's been with Blair, and him and Nate are friends. Like, I don't want to hear about none of that. Y'all want to have that acknowledgement when y'all want to find something to argue about. We're not going to do it here. Because Serena has already been with Nate while her and Blair were quote-unquote friends. And Blair's been in love with her and Nate were a thing for 3 years. Since freshman year, all the way from freshman, sophomore, junior year, and then they had an on and off thing in senior year. So get the fuck out of here, man. Like, I don't want to hear about that shit. Blair has feelings for Dan with him and Serena were not a thing. Obviously, Dan did not reciprocate his feelings for Serena. To me, I think Serena should have taken that as a sign that obviously he had feelings for someone else if he's not reciprocating. He obviously don't feel the same way. So it's like, how you gonna be mad at Blair when honestly you're more mad at him? You just don't want to admit it. Like, get the fuck out of here. Like, get the fuck out of here saying that Blair was a bad friend. Man, get the fuck out. The only thing Blair was bad for was telling Serena that she did it when she did. She should have been honest. But Serena has never been honest about anything. So we're gonna just zip it up right now. Serena's never had any loyalty when it came to Blair. Not at fucking all. I could be here all day talking about all the time she had no loyalty towards Blair. But back to the Dan thing. She told Blair that she knew that she had feelings for Dan, and why didn't she say anything? She talked about, you're a backstabber, and she said you could have just told me the truth. I'm just paraphrasing because I don't have my phone to pull up the real actual thing, but it was some bullshit like that. You know, Serena tried to act like she this innocent little lamb when she's never had any real loyalty. She don't know the definition of motherfucking loyalty at all, by the way. So, you know what? Y'all want to know what Serena does? Where Dan and Blair were a couple, and when Gossip Girl decided to expose these diaries that Blair had, expressing that Blair has always been in love with Chuck and that she don't know sure to get over him, proving to me that her and Dan were a massive waste of time. Dan told her that he loved her, and she didn't say it back. Again, massive waste of time. And in the episode when Blair was making a decision on who she should be with, Serena manipulated the situation by telling Dan that Blair is at Chuck's hotel right now, telling Chuck that she's going to choose him. So her and Dan are drinking, and he talked about, I can't believe I thought Blair would change. She talked about Blair's never going to change. She said she's going to always be the same person. And she talked about, unlike me, she said I could change. Like, girl, shut the fuck up. This waitress, I'm pretty sure she hired to do this shit, spills all this champagne over her and Dan's clothes. Her and Dan go to clean it up. And y'all know what Serena does? Serena decides to record a sex tape of her and Dan, without his consent, by the way, to get revenge back at Blair because Blair, quote-unquote, stole her man who didn't want her. Like, y'all really want to try to sit here and tell me that Blair was a bad friend? There are way more examples of Blair being a better friend to Serena than Serena has ever been to her. Now, don't get me wrong. Are there moments when Serena is there for Blair? Yes. The moment when Blair had a relapse on binging, Serena was there for her. I do like that moment. The moment where they reconciled everything in episode 3 of season 1, I love that moment. I'm trying to think of more moments of when Serena was there for Blair. I'm really trying. I can't really seem to find any. She was there for Blair with the whole Chuck situation in season 2. You know, Chuck being wishy-washy with his feelings and things like that. She was there for Blair. That's all I got. As long as I watch this show, that is all I got. There are way more instances of Blair being there for Serena, way more than Serena was for her. She was there for Serena when Serena got told Blair that she thought she killed somebody. She got Nate and Chuck to go track her down and bring her back to the house and give her a shower and something to eat. She told Winnie to not send Serena to another boarding school. She helped Serena take down the teacher in season 2 to save her and Dan's relationship. She also was the one who found out that guy Gabriel was a scammer. She told Serena that he was a scammer, and he ended up being one. Like, man, there are so many times Blair actually looked out for Serena, and Serena never had any loyalty. So y'all could just zip it in the bud with that. So the whole Dan thing, I feel like when it came to that, I feel like Blair was only wrong for telling Serena that she didn't have feelings for him when she did. That's the only thing I feel like Blair is generally wrong about. Honestly, Serena is the villain in the situation. Because even though I understand it pains you to see your person that you're in love with someone else, you never ever get with the person that your friend is with and make a sex tape out of it. And then try to talk about you try to record to make it look like I cheated on her. You did, sir. You had sex with her. That is cheating. Anything like that. And then when Blair found out about it in season 6, Serena go tell her, you have already chosen Chuck. So that makes it better. Even if I was going to choose Chuck, I didn't sleep with him or kiss him or do anything like that until I knew that me and Dan were over, and we were. Dan stuck with you knowing that we were still together. Like come on. Like, you're a terrible friend. Trying to sit there and talk about we actually did, champagne did spill on us, we tried to clean it up, and then you end up having sex. So, like, come on, you take no accountability. It's just excuses. Blair should have never taken Serena back as a friend so many times. And I just don't understand why writers just kept this friendship going. I do not understand why. This friendship is just so toxic. I just don't understand. Serena is a terrible friend. Like, a terrible friend. There are people who are way better friends than Serena. Like my girl Peyton Sawyer that y'all try to clown all the time. Peyton is a way better friend to Brooke than Serena is to Blair. Peyton was there for Brooke so many motherfucking times. The only thing that makes Peyton and Brooke's friendship bad is that they both were in love with the same guy. Unlike Peyton make no motherfucking sex tape. Peyton didn't make no excuse for no sex tape. Man, get out of here. Serena never had any loyalty towards Blair, and period, point blank, we're going to just stay right the fuck now. Never any loyalty. The next reason why I don't like Serena, she's very male-centered. Serena does not have a storyline if she's not with a guy. I cannot think of a single Serena storyline that she's had when she's not dating anyone. The only time Serena to me was very compelling as a character was probably in season 1. Season 1 probably a little bit in season 2 because I feel like Dan made her so much more of a compelling character because the relationship was just so compelling to me. Serena was her most compelling in season 1. Outside of that, Serena is a very male-centered character. She makes bad decisions because of guys and then blames the men for why she makes bad decisions. She does the same thing. In season 3, Serena went through 3 different guys. In 22 episodes, she went through 3 different guys. She was with Carter Bazin, then she was with Chip. No, actually 4 guys because she got also hooked up with Dan in season 3. She was with Carter Bazin, had to break up with him because he owed this family a whole bunch of money, used Nate and conned Nate into giving up all this money, knowing that she couldn't play poker, and got mad at Nate because he was mad at her for pretty much wasting his time with all this money. Used up all his money to get this guy out of jail, to get him out of debt, and she didn't know how to play motherfucking poker. Ends up getting with Nate's fucking cousin, becoming a whole ass mistress, knowing that this man was married and not giving a fuck about the fact that he was married, even though her Thanksgiving outfit did eat down. I will give that. Her Thanksgiving outfit, that black outfit, I'm going to call it a bodysuit, did eat. Her, Blair, and Jenny, they all look good in their Thanksgiving outfit. Again, Vanessa looks a mess. She looks a mess. I don't know who the fuck was her costume designer in that show, but they must have thought she was ugly or something because Vanessa's outfits were always ugly. I cannot think of a single outfit she ever had on that was cute. But Blair, Serena, and Jenny, they ate in that episode with their outfit. Just want to give a shout out, the fashion icons. I'll consider that. I might like Serena, but she can dress. Some of her outfits are cute. She becomes a whole ass mistress to Chip, knowing that he's married, and she was falling for him while he was married, and kissed him while he was married in the elevator. Nate and Chip's wife recorded it, had the audacity to invite this man to Thanksgiving dinner, knowing that they were sneaking around. And then she left with this guy while he's still married. Her life almost got ended into a car accident because she made another bad decision. Again, because of a man. She got together with Nate. The fact that Nate gave her a chance, even though she was just taking dick from his cousin, is fucking crazy to me. That's insane. Nate must have really had feelings for her to do some shit like that. Because I could never. Her and Nate had a relationship. Again, I don't care about Serena and Nate. They were obviously together because fans, I don't know if they looked on Reddit at the time, was like, what couples can we put together that fans have been complaining about for years? And I'm pretty sure Nate and Serena were on there. And, the writers put them together. I didn't care about Nate and Serena. I didn't care about it. Again, she's lying, scheming around with her ex-boyfriend Carter Bays in limos, and lying to Nate, telling him that she's over here with, obviously she's with her ex. She cheats on Nate with Dan, and that's pretty much the end of her and Nate. And then in season 4, she's bouncing in between Nate and Dan, can't make a decision, and it was just a mess. It was a mess. She got with Nate, and then she cheated on Nate with Dan in season 3, and then she left town in season 3 because she couldn't make up her mind up between Nate or Dan. And then in season 4, she used both of them to make her professor jealous. It was just a mess. Like, it was very obvious that she still had feelings for Dan, but the writers, I don't know what it was. I don't know why the writers were just so afraid to put her and Dan back together. Like, I have no idea what the fuck the problem was. Like, I don't know what the fuck it was. That whole situation was just crazy, and it was just ridiculous. Serena is very male-centered. We could be here all day talking about all the guys she dated, all the relationships that didn't mean shit, didn't mean anything. The relationship she had in season 2 with that boy Aaron, didn't care about it. The relationship she had with that guy, I don't even remember his name. The guy that the guy that she got with in season 2, who was a fake, who was taking money, he was married to her friend, and she slept with him. Now, I know she's underage. I know y'all gonna say, well, she's underage, but she still slept with him. If that's your friend and you know that she's married to him, well, no, not married. She went on vacation with her for the summer. And while they was on vacation, she was falling for her boyfriend, the guy whose name I can't remember in season 2. She was falling for him, and she said they got married when they were drunk. And they had sex. And when Poppy found out that they slept together, that's when she left and they stayed. So it's just ridiculous. Serena, she's going to hurt, scheme anybody to get with a man. And it's sad, really. Like, it's sad, but I feel like it is what it is. She's male-centered. Like, she ain't doing nothing if ain't no guy around. And I understand why, like I said, when I made a part 1 video, I get it. Lily and her dad are terrible parents. And I feel like deep down, Serena was just trying to fill a hole of emotional abandonment. But being male-centered is male-centered. I'm not going to make excuses for anyone just because they have trauma. Male-centered is male-centered. And she was heavily male-centered. To the fact that she stayed with a man in season 6 when he told her that he slept with her mom. She still was going to marry him. That proves to me that she's male-centered. The fact that you don't care that this man also slept with your mom and sleeping with you and you're still going to marry him proves to me that you are heavily male-centered. Like, Serena is very male-centered. A lot of her storylines come from her relationship. She's not doing anything. She's never had a compelling storyline after season 1. Now, don't get me wrong. Some of her relationship storylines were actually entertaining. I like the one that she had in season 2 with that boy because he turned out to do fake embezzlements. The stuff with Trip was entertaining too because seeing Serena be a mistress is not surprising to me. That was pretty entertaining. That's about it. That's all the shit I really remember that she's had. Well, the stuff that I thought was entertaining. That's it to me. But yeah, another reason, and I made a video about Serena a while, like a long, I think in August of like last year, or I think this year, of me talking about why I don't like her, and it's because I feel like people just tend to make way too many excuses for Serena, and I'm just tired of it. Reason number 3, she has no goals. Serena has no goals, no nothing, no passions in life. And someone with all that money and with all that opportunity, they do nothing with their life. Nothing. If I was born with a silver spoon in my mouth, I would at least try to do something with my life. Like go to college or create a business or do something. Donate to charities. Like she does nothing with her life. Nothing. She tried college, that didn't work for her, which is fine. She tried to get a full-time job, that didn't work because she ended up dating a guy for his own publicity, making a fool out of herself, and then end up quitting the job that she worked at because she didn't have any real a backbone. Whenever I first started to try to have a career path, it just never worked out because I just feel like she doesn't have. They're not telling us where her goals were, so it's crazy seeing her try to do one because it's like this character doesn't have any goals. In season 5, she tries to become I believe a movie director, and that didn't work out. They didn't get any storyline. She becomes Gossip Girl too in season 5, so that's not surprising. I definitely could see. To me, I just don't like the idea of anyone in the show being Gossip Girl. I think it's stupid. I think it's a major plot hole. There's reasons why season 6, episode 10 is a terrible season finale episode. But I will defend season 6 because I do think season 6 was a good season for Gossip Girl. I just feel like that last episode left a bad taste in my mouth because I love Gossip Girl so much. It just left a bad taste. It seems so rushed. Like it seemed like such a rushed final episode. But yeah, Serena has no goals. I feel like she just doesn't have any goals or anything. She doesn't know what she wants as a person. She constantly, and I'm just always saying her too, she's very selfish, very self-conceited, always has her friends are always saving her from her mess, and she makes the same mistakes over and over again. She's very selfish. She usually only does things because it's only her personal gain. Again, a great example of this is when she asked Dan and Nate out on a date in season 4 to make her professor jealous, even though they both have feelings for her, and she didn't care about that. All she cared about was just making her professor jealous. Very selfish to me. Also, she's conceited. She doesn't like it when other people are in the spotlight. She is constantly jealous of Blair whenever Blair has an opportunity. The whole Yale situation, she was very jealous, even though she was totally in the wrong at episode 5. I'm not saying that Blair was 100% right either, but again, and I'm going to talk about this in Blair's video, y'all keep acting like whenever Blair does something, she just does it to do it. I understand that not every action needs a reaction, but I feel like sometimes as a person it's very valid to have a reaction when people constantly do things and you just act like you're supposed to sit there and just let it happen. Like Serena pretty much tried to abandon their old tradition because she wanted to have an opportunity. And I'm not saying she should turn on the opportunity to protect Blair's insecurities, but it's like me and you already made plans, and now you're saying fuck me and fuck what we got going on to be in the show? Like, I just feel like people don't understand. I think people just think Blair's just insecure to be insecure. It's like, no, like, I feel like her insecurities are very valid, like, very, very valid. Serena is just a terrible friend. She's just very conceited and just, like, very... It's all about me. It's not about anyone else. And like she tends to be this very nice person when she's not deep. She's not deep at all as a person. She's very selfish. She throws the rock and hides the hand. Y'all want to talk about Blair being a bully? It's like Serena was a bully too. Serena bullied Jenny in season 3. She had two of Blair's minions throw hot blue acid on this girl's hair because she was jealous about Dan talking to somebody else, had him throw fucking blue acid in this girl's hair. Her hair fell out. Like, she didn't give two fucks about any of that. She was a bully too. Y'all just want to just try to, even though she's not entirely wrong for taking the picture of Dan and that teacher meeting after school hours, she's not 100% wrong, but she tried to act like Blair was the one who did it. Like, she took no accountability for giving Blair the information to get her fired, and tried to act like Blair was the one who did it. And then in the episode when they did the school play, which is actually a good episode, I used to always not care the episode season 2, but when I went back and watched it, I genuinely actually liked the episode. I just wish that Chuck was in it and not Vanessa and Nate. I wish Vanessa and Nate were nowhere near the episode. I think if Chuck was in it, it would have been more entertaining than it already was. And I wish Jenny was able to be a part of it and not just a costume designer. But in that episode, when Blair was trying to figure out who kept her off the Yale list, and it turned out to be the teacher, she would talk about, you deserved it because of what you did to her. You got her fired. Bitch, are you forgetting that you're the one who gave her a picture of that ended up getting her ass fired? Which she deserves. She was meeting a student who was underage after school hours. Like, what the fuck am I doing wrong? Like, I don't understand what Blair did wrong. I mean, tell me so I can understand what it is that I did wrong, because I don't know what I did wrong. I think I prefer the truth, and that's what Blair did. Blair was catching a predator, and she's a bad person for doing that? It's insane to me. That's totally insane. Like, Serena was a bully too. She had so many bully moments. She bullied her own cousin. She bullied Blair for years. She bullied her own cousin in season 5. She was so mad that her cousin was dating Nate and getting all this attention and all this and all that. Like, she was a total bully. She tried to ruin her own cousin's vibe because she couldn't stand being in the shadow. Ivy too. She tried to Ivy, she didn't like that Ivy was getting on when Ivy wanted to get with Dan, she was mad and tried to ruin that too. Like, y'all want to forget all this shit with Serena. Y'all just want to paint her as this traumatized victim, which is like, I understand, but it's like, yo, 6 seasons. For 6 seasons, Serena was not this innocent little bystander that y'all want to try to make her out to be. Like, no. She tried to essentially, and like I said, I'm not saying she's not valid, because Jenny did try to sneak up on Nate while they were together. But again, just like that, Nate got more mad at Jenny when your girlfriend Serena was lying and seeing her ex-boyfriend in limos lying to you. You're more mad at me than you are mad at your girl who's lying to you? Crazy. And this, when her daddy came there, try to punk Jenny out, trying to punk her out. Like, bitch, everybody's scared of you. Definitely not Queen Jenny. She definitely not scared. If you want the fire, you're gonna get it. And Jenny kind of, Jenny owned her when she told her dad, like, I heard that Serena was actually down there hooking up with boys and doing other activities, but whatever, she had to own her real quick. And, Serena thought she was slick by, trying to throw her shit off the room, talking about I'm moving back in and yada yada yang. Like, she was just so mad because she thought her dad wouldn't love her if he didn't know the truth. It's like, you still full of issues that you're trying to ruin my relationship with my dad because you're so worried that your own daddy won't love you for who you are. Bitch, get a grip and get a life and grow the fuck up. How about that? Don't ever try to come for Queen Jenny because it will be a problem. Jenny had to own her. And I just don't like Serena. I just don't like Serena as a person. I think she's very bland. I think she's very one-dimensional. I think I would say her and Nate are probably the most boring characters in the entire show. She has no goals. She's very male-centered. She has no loyalty to her friends. Like, it's not even just Blair. She's done terrible things to everybody in the friend group. She's done terrible things to Chuck. She's done terrible. And I'm not going to say Chuck when he tried to essay her. I know he did. He's definitely not right for that, or nowhere near right for trying to force someone onto Serena. But Serena ruined his business deal because she got mad that Chuck told her that she need to go do something with her life outside of just sit home. basically told Chuck I need a place to stay, moving her shit in, and then she get mad and ruin his business deal on purpose. Like what? And when he told Rufus that she moved, the reason why he told Rufus about her not going to college because he was genuinely worried. Like they're step siblings. Even though it started off rocky between them, I generally do like Chuck and Serena's sibling relationship. I think it's the most consistent thing in the show when it comes to dynamics because I feel like a lot of dynamics were thrown into the fucking toilet as the show went on. But I think that was definitely the most consistent one in the show to me, in my opinion. She won his business deal. Again, she played with Nate's feelings in season 4. She stole all his money, hooked up with his cousin. Like, come on now. I don't even gotta talk about Blair. We know she got loyalty towards Blair. Like, Serena has done horrible things to everyone. Not just Blair, to everybody. She's done horrible things. I feel like to me as a character, she's very bland. I feel like the more and more I watch the show, she's annoying. The more and more I watch the show, she's boring. The more and more I watch the show, she's just there. And I feel like if she was not played by Blake Lively, I don't think her character would have stayed on the show for this long. Because I definitely feel like they definitely would have ran her out. If she wasn't played by Blake Lively, I don't think Serena would have stayed as long in the show. But I understand that they feel like, because to me, Gossip Girl wasn't even like a long cast. To me, it wasn't a cast. It wasn't a show filled with a long cast. But I think they just wanted to stay consistent throughout the show with the characters. But to me, it's just crazy to me that for 6 seasons, her character stopped being important to the plot, like after like seasons 1 and 2. Like that to me, I feel like Serena didn't really contribute much to any real important storylines after like seasons 1 and 2, in my opinion. So that's just how I feel about Serena, and that's just how I feel. Like I don't like Serena. I would never like Serena. And y'all want to talk about pretty privilege, about Blair, talk about Blair was a bully, but the reason why people don't want to call that out is because she was played with Lane Minister, and Lane Minister is a beautiful woman. Lane Minister is gorgeous. Lane Minister is charismatic. Lane Minister is aura-filled. Lane Minister is amazing. Stay in Lane Minister. I love Lane Minister. You know, I'm talking about pretty privilege with Blair. Serena is the definition of pretty privilege. If that was any other character, the hate that y'all give to Elena for being annoying, and when Elena left the show, there were some people who said, there were a lot of people who was like, thank God, her character didn't contribute much, her character was bland anyway, which I agree with. I understand Anita left because she just needed to take a break, which I'm not mad about, but I still think if Nina was there, season 7 and 8 would have still been horrible. But the hate that y'all give to Elena for her being bland and her being one-dimensional and her not doing anything, y'all don't want to hold that same standard to Serena. And it's like Serena and Serena and Elena, put them together, they both the same character. Very bland, very boring, not very interesting protagonists. They're pretty much covered up by their love stories and not anything else interesting outside of them. But what I will give Elena over Serena is that Elena contributed way more to her show than Serena did to hers. Elena actually had storylines in the beginning before it was all about the love triangle and things like that. Like, she actually did contribute a lot to the show in the beginning. And it would say later on Elena contributed way more to the Vampire Diaries than Serena contributed to Gossip Girl. So that's all I'm saying. I feel to me that's pretty privileged. The fact that y'all want to duck and hide over one character but hate the other character is crazy to me. Serena Blake Lively is a very beautiful woman. To me, I think she's very beautiful, but I think as an actress, she's very bland. She's very bland. She's very dry. She's like a still piece of bread. She's like still bag of chips. There's nothing there about any of it. Now, her acting in Gossip Girl isn't the worst. But I will say, out of everyone, I would definitely know Nate is the guy who plays Nate. His acting is probably the weakest. But I would definitely say probably after Nate, Serena, because her acting doesn't do anything for me. Because she's doing the same thing. I'm not seeing anything new. her acting is very bland. I think the best actors were Lathan, Ed, and Taylor Momsen. I think they were definitely the best, to me, in my opinion. And I like some of Blair's minions. I think some of Blair's minions had good acting. That too, that's something I will be talking about when it comes to Jenny. So don't worry about that. How I feel like Jenny, her Queen era was just so underwhelming. Because I will be making another video about Jenny and why I feel like her character was just so done dirty. Like, I feel like there needs to be a part 2 video about it. But that's how I feel about Serena. Don't feel some way about it. Don't. This is just me personally. I actually did take the courtesy of making a part 1 video talk about her trauma and why I feel like Lily and her parents did fail her, unlike the first video that I made. But I feel like just because you dealt with some things in your childhood or things like that is no excuse for daily life. Which, like I said, I feel like a lot of reasons what Serena has to do with her family. The reason why Serena doesn't have any goals is because no one's ever pushed her. No one's ever asked her what her goals were. No one's ever really, no one's ever really cared. Like, adult-wise, no one's really cared. And I understand that. I get that. I feel like as a person, she's just looking for that emotional attachment that she never got from her parents. But again, I'm going to keep saying, no excuse for her actions, and it shouldn't be. So that's just how I feel. Y'all have a good one, and when this uploads, listen to it.